Good morning. My name is Scott Owens. I'm the project manager and team lead for the business system software development team for the USGS National Technical Geospatial Operations Center. So today I'd like to talk to you about a few things. This thing will go over. Let's see. There we go. First, a little bit about how we did Agile transformation, because being a government, we had a lot of issues in our software development in the past, and so we were looking at how we can do things better and more efficiency. So I'd like to highlight to you a little bit about how organization transitioned to the Agile methodology and how our team is doing it and some of the successes we're doing, but really then dive into some of the, how we're using PostGIS, and that's really pretty exciting for us as well. The NG Talk is, we're really one office, two locations. We have an office in Rolla, Missouri, which is about an hour and a half down the road from here, and one in Denver. And basically what we do is we produce data and map products for the public, and so you'll be able to go online and find all of our stuff, download all of the information that we have, and so it's all free to everybody. So that's pretty exciting to support the public that way. My team, as a business systems team, we do all the internal inventory related development. Basically it's all on the business system side, the intelligence of what we're doing, the production statistics, and how much we're producing and all that. So we have a lot of internal customers that I support. The obligatory organization chart, we're buried deep within the Department of the Interior, and down there at the bottom is my little team. And NG Talk, that's all the green areas. So we've got a couple of different, we're broken out into different software development teams and different themes, hydrology, and elevation being the two main ones. And so our Agile transformation has been pretty exciting. Being the government, we are always, get dwindling resources, increasing requirements. So and the old traditional waterfall method for software development was not working out for us very well. And so we started looking at what's happening around the industry, and Agile looked very promising. We had some mid-level managers coming from different organizations that came in. One of them came from NGA, and so sold it. And so because, the usual problems with the government, annual planning processes, really slow operations, everything's stored in the bins, so things are thrown off the wall and you kind of lose visibility of stuff. And then, of course, the big thing is our development teams, because we really didn't have any really good method for the development teams to gain their requirements. So you had so many different product owners, stakeholders, everybody going to the team saying, hey, I need this, I need that. Developers were very, very frustrated because they were jumping back and forth, and we work with several different applications and databases, Oracle, PostGIS, and various other, Java. So they're jumping from different platform to different platform, really frustrated. So after they sold the Agile methodology, management jumped in. They said, yes, let's do this. And they realized it was going to be a heavy lift. It's going to take the team members as well as management support to pull this elephant out of the hole and get us working. And it turned out to be pretty well. I mean, we have a pretty good operation going on right now. However, being the government, we had to fit it in somehow. And so this is my little Agile scale. At the top, we still got the bureaucracy and the whole annual planning processes, the budgeting, everything that we have to adhere to for the government level, at the higher levels. But the further you go down, the more we turn and get into the Agile. So the teams, we have 7 development teams, and they all are doing a pretty good job. We've adopted Agile methodology. We're doing our stand-ups, our sprints, and it's going very well. The higher level you go, but there's some issues. We built a little adapter kit. So we have meetings, we have tools that we use, Jira and other things, so we can keep the mid-level and higher level management informed of what's going on, and then we can fit within the entire organization's planning and mission for the year. So really what I found is it takes the product manager or the project managers. We have to be Scrum masters and product owners, because the product owners aren't really doing what a product owner is supposed to do. They're not really filling in the backlog in Jira, working and prioritizing our missions. So we interact with them, and then we go ahead and we work with the team. And of course, they will dial in the stand-ups and the sprint planning every once in a while. But we have to kind of do dual roles. But it works very well because they have their job to do, and they're not really able to put that kind of effort into it, so we do it for them. So real quick, our team, we're the last of the teams to go. I retired from the Army, actually, so it's really neat to see the NGA group here because I was a geospatial warrant officer, a little over 30 years in the Army. Worked requirements at the engineer school for geospatial requirements, worked heavily with NGA as well as the Intel Center. So it was kind of frustrating to go through the whole waterfall process, the spiral development process. Well, sure you all experienced that. What a pain that was. So when I came on board, I thought, wow, Agile methodology, that's pretty refreshing. I'm pretty intrigued here. And really when I looked at it, it's a lot what we did operationally in the force. When you're out in the force, you have a rapid pace. And so this was a real easy fit for me. So I came on, met with the team, and since they weren't doing Agile yet, it was a really good time for us to get together and do it, learn it together. So what we did is, crawl, walk, and stumbled a little bit, and now we're running pretty well. So we're all in the bus together, going down the road, having a great time. But really the meat of what we want to talk about today is how we're using open source. And of course, the drivers are going open source, you're all very familiar with, and some of it was talked today when Adam was up here earlier. It's really, we've got increased requirements. We've got vendor lock in some things, so we really don't want to do that. And really, it's as we looked at it, we saw it's quite great community out there and all the open source solutions, and there's a lot of support, and it's it's fresh, it's always changing, and there's a lot of people contributing to it and making it better. So we've been dabbling with it over the last few years, and some of the teams have been using it, different open source solutions. We're tied to some of the vendors, and like we have Oracle, we're actually going to be getting off of Oracle shortly too. So and of course costs, that's the big thing. So how are we using PostGIS? I got a couple, and PostGIS. I got a couple of applications that we're working on. One we have developed, which is a product tracking system, and another one we're developing now called Specifications Explorer. So I'll kind of highlight some of what we're doing for those two. But PTS, it's for tracking data collection task orders. So we'll do agreements with partners, NGA, other government agencies, state, local entities to collect elevation data, hydrology data for the nation. And then we will enter into the contracts. They'll have a task order out. And then this system tracks from the agreement when we start making it all the way to when the data is published. So there's a lot of information in it. We got about 120 different tables in there. Most of it is about the project itself, but we do have the geospatial footprint. People want to be able to know some information to see on a map and be able to do some analysis with the data. So we do that. It is open source, all open source. So right now it's on Spring, Leaflet, GeoServer, PostGIS, and we're redeveloping it currently. And we're using Django, Python, but we're still keeping GeoServer, PostGIS, Postgres, because those are very proven for us. And same with SpecX. That's on the same technology stack, and we're also going to transition that to Django. So here's PTS home screen. And as you can see, we got a nice map, and we got some filters set on the side. And so we'll be able to select by various things. We have themes, hydrology, elevation. And so you can click on that at the top, and then you'll have various options from there. We can select by projects, by state. And then we, of course, have product types. We select different, or we produce different resolutions of the elevation data. And so we can filter by that. So the users want to be able to see, okay, where's all the LiDAR quality level 1 being produced at this year? And so we can, boom, click on that button, and there it is. Also, we can do, we have statuses. So we'll go in and say, okay, is it on track? Is it archived? Is it behind? So we have a few radio buttons that users can come in and select from that. And also, we can export, because one of the biggest things people wanted to be able to download it into, well, people still love shapefile, so we got CSV, but they also want to be able to download it into shapefile and CSV, so they can do spreadsheets and still play with the shapefile. So we provide that service so they can do that. We also provide it as a map service that is used for another entity within USGS, so they can track all the data that is being collected and compare that with the data that has been collected, so we don't, double collect. So it's a quick little overview of what PTS front end looks like. And then real quick, here's a few little examples of how the filters go. You can go in and filter by different categories there. And then, of course, you can download it. So whatever you have filtered out and you displaying on the screen, that will be zipped up, downloaded, and then you can open it up with the attribution. So as I said, we do have several tables, about 120 or so plus tables in the database itself. And then we basically pulling information from that, put into a view, and then that is being used, what's using the attribution here. And so we can tweak whatever attribution they want in these shape files or the CSV or the JSON. But right now it's like, it's very user-friendly. People are very happy with it. And so all that stuff that you have that shows a status that you can filter by, we put it in the tables and they can do their own analysis as well. But our goal was really, I don't want you to have to do that analysis on your own. I want to make it to where they can go in, look at the screen, click the buttons, and then the analysis is done for them visually right there. And that's happening a lot. So now they have to do reporting once a month over to headquarters on what we're collecting, what the status is of it. They do a nice little screen grab of that, and they can see where we're at in our production. So it's pretty exciting for them. And real quick, as I talked about how we tracked projects, this is one way when somebody wants to see a specific project. So they can go in and highlight a polygon, and it'll come in, okay, in this case here, it's Utah statewide, and it'll show you there's 14 what we call work units, which is really basically data that's being processed. There's 14 sets of data in there being processed. How many square miles is there? Just a little overview. And then we put whatever they wanted to see in that little overview box, and we can tweak that, customize it if they needed to add anything more to it. And then you can go into, okay, here's the project itself, and you've got lots of detailed information about what's going on, what the general information about the project is, and we got another little map in there. So you got the map, shows the footprint of that project, and at the bottom is all the statuses of it. And this is a work in progress. I mean, it's been a pretty exciting project, and we're going to constantly improving it. The GIS part, really the mapping part is one that's everybody's excited about. So we're looking at increasing the capability for that, having more options to be able to track each one of the projects subdivided out that we're producing. Those 14 work units we call. Right now we don't map those individual ones, and so that's the next step. We'll be able to do that for them. So it's been pretty fun, but really the PostGIS has been what's helping us do this. I mean, we want to do all open source. We have a lot of internal customers that still are using Esri and some other, and some are using QDOL or GDOL, and so it's really it's been flexible for us. We've been able to make it to where people use it. It's easy because my developers, they're not GIS experts. I mean, they're all pretty much Java coders, And so when we started introducing the map to them, at first they were a little bit uncomfortable because they have not worked in the GIS world. And just as you heard today, you don't need to be GIS to do GIS. And so they started learning it, and they're like, wow, this is easy. It's just a database, so you can do your SQL and display it how you want. And so it's really intuitive to my developers. They've been catching on quite nicely. The other project I talked about, Specification Explorer, is very similar. We're using the same technology stack, and really what that is it's a list of all our mapping specifications. And so we have a lot of internal production of mapping, as well as there's the public that you do a lot of mapping as well. So we want to have standards for, okay, a stream, this wide is symbolized like this, and these are the attributions that come with that stream. These are the feature codes that come with it. So right now, we don't provide this to the public in a nice interactive map format, this is what we're building, and this is actually an example shot of a prototype that we just made. And so right now it's a PDF file, so come in and you get this giant document that you got to just sort through and find out, okay, stream, perennial, blah, 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 and this is the code. And so we want to make it easy, user interface for them where they can actually just query it, click on a button, it'll give them what they're looking for. If they want to find out what the feature code is or what the definition is, all that stuff will be there for them in a nice interactive map. And all this is made, available and powerful to us because of PostGIS. So real quick, that was a nice little summary of all what we're doing. I mean, we're doing a lot more. As I mentioned, we are getting off Oracle. Oracle is our big, heavy database. My team, I have the team that works on this project, these two projects. We also have other projects to work on, as our inventory system is on our Oracle database. We're in the midst of getting that off of Oracle, and it'll have the GIS data or geospatial database in it as well, of course, because all our data is GIS. It's elevation, hydro, and all those data. So we're going to use PostGIS, PostGIS, and we're developing, completing everything from scratch to get off Oracle and move over to open source completely. So it's pretty exciting for us. But the big thing is, like I said, it's been easy for us to learn. As you heard today, PostGIS, PostGIS is pretty powerful. It can do a lot for us. A lot of people are using it. We've discovered it, been pretty excited about it because, one, we love it. It is easy for us to pick up on and learn. The other thing is it's very cost effective, of course, because we don't have to pay Oracle license anymore. And of course, the vendor lock. We definitely don't want to get locked into vendors because we've had that problem as well as before. So really, if subject to any questions, that concludes my presentation. Just wanted to give a little overview of how we're doing things, and I really appreciate the time. No questions? Okay.